Welcome to Takeology with your two boys in the lab so you can do the cooking. Hope you're having a good day. It's been a great week. Mr. Matt McDonald, how are you doing?
Doing great. Had a 4-1 week, so I'm pretty on top of it this week. Had a lot of injuries though to big name players this week, so it's definitely worrisome for the future for a lot of managers that had these big name receivers that got injured this week. But that's why we preach the importance of the waiver wire. Uh, this a team can be undefeated, and then one week goes and they can lose their top two players. That's how fantasy goes. So that's why you always need to be active and always have just depth on your roster so that you can replace some of these guys if they do go down.
Exactly, dude. That's that. You want those anchors. You want those guys that as soon as they pop down, they're next up. Like our guy, Mr. Tyler Algier. We seen that come in handy a little bit this week. Had a buddy play him, and he pulled through. But we're glad you're here. It's a good week, and I wanted to throw this out there when we started. I've had my weekend. We talked last week about the lows of fantasy, but let's talk about the highs of fantasy. Listen, when you win, it's a nice fall day, almost Thanksgiving. I know we got Halloween, but we can skip it. To be honest with you, I'm here for the turkey. I'm here for the dressing. Listen, man, when you win and you come through, I was in my PJs watching some football, bro. It's cold. It's that time of year, and when you're up in fantasy, you're up in life. Let me tell you something. It's nice.
No,
How do you
you're
feel about
you're
that? You won too, didn't you?
yeah, you're 100% right. Me and Alex are both 5-1 in our dynasty league, kind of on top of the world. I made a kind of big-ish trade this week in our dynasty league. I traded for Patrick, and a lot of people might think that's a homer trade just because I'm a Chiefs fan, but Patrick has legit been on top of the world this year. He's number one for quarterbacks, and when you make a trade and it immediately has return on value, and Patrick's the number one quarterback this week, it fills your bucket with happiness, and I couldn't be happier. Even though I dealt with some injuries this week, it's great to be in a good spot going forward at one of the most important positions on a team.
Patrick Mahomes is not a quarterback. He is now the running back for the Kansas City Chiefs. So man, I see the post where it said running back one, and it had Patrick Mahomes there, and I was like, man, this is ridiculous, dude. This guy
Yeah,
looks like he did a few years ago.
this was the first week that he didn't lead the team in rushing yards for a game. So I'm ecstatic about that, even though it hurts his fantasy value a little bit. You definitely don't want him running so much that he gets himself hurt. So it's good to see Pacheco play slightly better. It was a little over four clip this week for him per rush. So I'm hoping as he comes back from that injury, just it's looking better week to week. So I'm hoping that continues. But that being said, trade for a running back, Chiefs. We need one. We can't we can't be averaging 2 yards a carry on these first down runs. So let's go ahead and trade for Brees Hall, and I think that would turn out pretty good.
Listen, I've got a better trade for you than Brees Hall. Go out there and get Chuba Hubbard because listen, I don't think he's going to touch the field again the rest of the year.
It's
I
not.
know we're probably talking about this a little bit more later, but as a Chuba, I traded for Chuba Hubbard in the preseason. He was looking good, gets hurt, and then freaking Rico Dowdle. It
Dude.
rages me. I'm glad he's doing good, but man, it sucks for Chuba Hubbard owners. Even in redraft, it's like, what do you? This is where waivers, you gotta hop on them things now.
Yeah, it really makes you think what were these NFL owners, GMs doing when Dallas kind of gave Rico away? They didn't sign him back. And I think he got a 1 year deal over there. It may be slightly more than 5 million for this 1 year. He he was a quality player that I think everyone just kind of overlooked, and kind of the Panthers got him on the down low, and it's a good thing they did because it looks like he might be their lead back going forward, which that is tough for Chuba. Chuba is a good player,
Yeah,
but if Rico's going to get 200 to 180 yards a week, it's hard to replace that guy. Now it was against Dallas,
exactly.
who has a terrible defense, so we kind of need to wait and see. But having two performances like this in a row is pretty incredible.
It, and the first one, I was like, you know what? Just a fluke thing. The man just popped off. It is what it is. But when you see it twice, it's like, man, you gotta play this guy. This guy is a bona fide running back one. 2 weeks in a row. Definitely didn't expect that. But we're going to go ahead and jump right into our lab report for the day. Glad you could tune in. We're glad you're here. But before we do, Matt, I wanted to throw this your way. We didn't talk about this before we hopped on. But I see here we use Sleeper, all right? I think Sleeper's elite. Shout out Sleeper, sponsor of the video. They're not really, but it is what it is. Maybe one day. But they've got Sleeper's NFL MVP rankings for week 6. And I want to know what you think about this. I'm going to give you the top 5. Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, Drake May at 3. Number 4, your man, Patrick Mahomes. Number 5, Sam Darnold. What a list.
Yeah. Sam Darnold has definitely surprised a lot of people. I think we may have thought last year was kind of just a one off. He had a great year, but Kevin O'Connell can kind of make it work with any quarterback. That's not the case. He's playing great with the Seahawks, and this year he has a defensive minded coach. So it's not just Kevin O'Connell. Sam Darnold has talent, and he went number 1 for a reason. It could have just been he got drafted in a terrible spot with the Jets. The Jets don't seem to be able to make any quarterback work, so it may have just been a bad landing spot, which is very important in the NFL. I think that's taken for granted a lot of time. Like Patrick Mahomes, he's the best quarterback I've ever watched, but if he wasn't drafted by the Chiefs, who knows where his career would be at this time.
Yeah. Program
As
in
far as
place is
that ranking
important.
goes, though, Baker has been on
Man.
fire this year. You kind of expected to see some regression with all the injuries they've dealt with. Mike Evans going out, Godwin was out this
Yeah.
past week, but he just continues to ball.
Yeah.
He threw a dime of a touchdown to the rookie Tez.
Tez
That-
Johnson. Yeah,
yeah,
crazy.
he continue. I've been a Baker hater in the past, and that was partly due because of his attitude,
Yeah.
and he wasn't really backing it up with the Browns. But now that he's in a good organization, dude, he looks like legitimately one of the best players in the NFL, which I would never have expected from an undersized white guy. So
Yeah.
it's definitely great to see him. Josh Allen, he offers such high fantasy value just because of his running ability. Um, and then my boy Patrick, he's the
Man.
best quarterback in the league. So I'm not surprised to see him out there.
Freaking Patrick Mahomes. We'll get to him later. It's inevitable we have to talk about him, especially with the trade that you put in. It's just it is what it is. But the man balled out. But let's start off with a little bit of waiver wire ads. People you're gonna want on your team. A lot of people, number one, I put on the list for me is Kamani Vidal. I think a lot of people went for Hassan Haskins, and he didn't do anything. Speaking for experience there, but Mr. Kamani Vidal last week in his first game had 138 total yards, a touchdown, and caught 3 passes for 4 targets. The Chargers are looking good this year. I think Justin Herbert might decrease a little bit as the season goes, just because that's what he tends to kind of do. But Kamani Vidal is a guy that if he's out there, you pick him up this week.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. A lot of people expected it to be Haskins. He was the guy that kind of had the lead role when Amar and Hampton got hurt. So we just kind of expected that to continue. But it ended up being Vidal, and he looked like the better player. So if he's out there, you need to pick him up. He needs to be your number 1 priority. Uh, Harbaugh just loves to run the ball. This is a running team. Beginning of the season, we kind of thought it may have transitioned to Herbert throwing the ball a ton, and they were throwing it a ton, but now they've had a lot of injuries on the O line, so they're trying to get a little bit back to that running game. So Kamani Vidal is going to be good until Marion Hampton comes back, and we don't necessarily. He was put on IR, so it'll at least be 3 more weeks, and it could span longer than that. So he'd be a great pickup for you.
Exactly. Another guy I want to throw out there, he should be in a lot of leagues already rostered, but Mr. Kendrick Bourne, with 2 games, and the injuries are up and down with the San Francisco 49ers, with Ricky Pearsall out, Juwan Jennings. I think he is back, actually. But
Yeah,
Brandon
he came
Ayuk,
back this past week.
and I do think George Kittle's coming back this week. That is a good report, but I don't think George Kittle being on the field is actually going to take away from Kendrick Bourne. But in 2 weeks, he was receiver 6 last week, and this week he was receiver 11 with 0 touchdowns. So this is a guy that's getting the ball, and he's getting a ton of yards. Both weeks, he had 142 yards, no touchdowns. That's solid. And if Mac Jones is playing in both weeks, he's thrown him the ball. And so I do think he'll kind of already be picked up in a lot of leagues, but this is a guy you got to go get.
You're 100% right. Him and Mac Jones just have displayed the rapport they have together. As long as Mac is the quarterback, which we really don't know the extent of Purdy's injury. It could be something that spans a lot longer than we expected. So, as long as Mac Jones is the quarterback on this team, he seems to love Kendrick Bourne. Uh, when Kittle does come back, I think you definitely need to watch. Uh, Kittle could just become the best player on this team, which he is talent wise, and he could just demand those targets. So you definitely need to watch to see how it shakes out when Kittle's back, and then Ricky Pearsall as well. When he comes back, there's a lot of mouths to feed when Ricky's back, Kittle's back. Jennings is a good player. He's just struggled with injuries, so you definitely need to see how it shakes out when this team gets a little healthier. But it seems like they're never going to get healthier with Fred Warner basically blowing up his ankle this week. So I guess on the bright side, their defense has struggled with so much injuries that they're going to need to throw the ball a ton. So that is a positive when it comes to these fantasy players.
Yeah, 100%. And what we've seen in that, and it's the reason why CMC is so high this year, is they've been putting him in his slot. And I don't know if you remember this, Matt, but before season, I kind of expected that a little bit because they were so banged up in receiver. They've got a dual threat, and the Kyle Shanahan offense, they're going to move the running back around so much. And we've seen that with CMC. But they're going to throw this ball, and it's a matter of who's it going to go to. And it's like, why not pick up a guy? Well, they're looking good with Mac Jones. I mean, he hasn't played awful. That he's not the best out there, like Mr. Dylan Gabriel. But
Yeah,
no,
I don't want to get into Dylan Gabriel. He's booty.
anyway, man. Honestly, I would also say I know you got some more waiver wire picks, but I would say any receiver on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. To be honest with you, it could be a waiver wire
Sterling,
pick in deep
yeah,
leagues.
Sterling
Yeah, Sterling
Shepard,
Shepard, Cameron Johnson, uh, any of those guys.
Kate Otten.
Kate Otten. He hadn't looked that great, but they're throwing this ball, and even Sean Tucker got a touchdown, which was kind of interesting. We see that last week. But this team is electric, man, and hop on the hype train. You know what I mean? What waiver wires we got, Mister Matt McDonald?
Just a few more. A lot of people picked up Harold Fannin at the beginning of the season. Then he's kind of on a couple down weeks and dropped him. With the injury to David Njoku, Harold Fannin could just become a PPR merchant. Gabriel's he's not special. He's going to be looking to throw these short passes over the middle of the field, and that's what Harold Fannin excels at. And if you're in a PPR league, that's just a point per catch, so you might as well pick him up. A few more. Jackson Dart. He, I don't necessarily know if it's going to fully work out yet, but his rushing ability is off the charts. So you definitely need to pick him up because that's so valuable at the quarterback position. And then the last one would be Josh Downs. A lot of people were frustrated with him coming into the season and uh, just frustrated with his target share, but he's becoming more regular when it comes to these targets and putting up yardage. So I think if you need some depth at the wide receiver position, he's definitely someone you can look at.
I did also want to throw out there with the possibility of not Robodudze, DJ Moore being out. Obviously, Robodudze he's going to get more targets in that. Mr. Luther Burden could be a guy
Yeah,
to be looking for in a deeper league. A lot of people probably aren't going to have him, and Caleb Williams has looked pretty good passing the ball. Maybe not the best, but he's had some good games. So that's a name out there to throw out. And then I know the Jets are cheeks, man, just straight up 0-6. But if Garrett Wilson misses time, somebody's got to get the ball and just look at some Jets receivers if you had to. And I wanted to throw out one more, man. Little Jordan Humphrey. Listen, dude, Jackson Dart has a rapport with this guy, and he was targeting him a ton. And this is a deeper league ad as well. But he could be a guy going forward with Malik Neighbors out. I know Wando Robinson played well. Excuse me, but I think this is a guy that you can also in a deep league pick up.
yeah. I mean, he had a decent game. He was used more down the field when Jackson was scrambling around. And if he is going to be the recipient of the scramble throws from Dart, he would be a guy you need to look up at picking up.
Yep.
A lot of it was due to just Ringo for the Eagles is terrible. and
Yeah.
he actually got benched. So we'll have to see kind of what the replacement is there. But the back end of this Eagles defense is just it's Cooper DeJean and that's it.
Right.
Their other cornerback, I'm blanking on his name. Um, anyways, he got hurt, the rookie from last year, this past game, hamstring injury. So it's
From
something to
Toledo.
watch. If their secondary is going to continue to be injured like this, you definitely need to be targeting them when it comes to
Yeah.
these offensive players playing against them.
Is it Quinion Mitchell? Is that who it is?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I couldn't think of his
Yeah.
name.
I hate that Keely Ringo
He's
is not
terrible,
as a Georgia Bulldog man. He's not. They literally win at him every play. So it kind of sucked
and
to see that.
he has every physical attribute you could want. He's a
Yeah, he was a dog in
tall,
college.
very physical athlete. He just got burned
Yeah.
multiple times. That was an embarrassing loss for the Eagles, and you don't you don't want to say it's the supernatural funk they had a couple years ago where they lost, what was it, 6 or 7 straight, and then lost to the
Yeah.
Bucks in the first round. But it's definitely a kind of scary situation if you're an Eagles fan. The locker room doesn't seem very gelled together. The whole team just seems at unrest with these games. That's 2 in a row they've lost. So there's something to keep an eye on because Saquon hasn't been doing that good. We definitely know AJ Brown struggles this year. Devontae Smith, because they don't throw the ball a ton, hasn't been producing. It's been with the exception of the tight end, it's been kind of a disappointing team for fantasy.
Sadly, that's the truth. But I think they'll pull through as we go. I mean, we'll see. But we also got some injury reports, not some fun things. Matt, what we got on the injury report today for the lab report?
Yeah, so this was a terrible week for big name wide receivers. I was a recipient of this one, which I honestly felt unbeatable with this player on my team, and having him go down is pretty tough. Puka Nakua had an ankle sprain. It was very similar to CD Lamb's, where he got hurt, got to the sideline to get checked out, and then attempted to come back in the game after halftime. And it was the same result. He couldn't get back out there. He couldn't put weight on it. So he's likely to miss week 7. Uh, but then they have the week 8 bye, and he could return week 9. So you're likely to be out on Puka for this upcoming week, and then they have the bye, so it could be 2 weeks on him, which that's a huge blow to a lot of teams. He's been the best player in fantasy so far this year, so we definitely want to get him back sooner than later.
Quick question on that. If let's say Puka Nakua is out, who is next up in this Rams offense? I mean, Kyron Williams, sure he might uh, increase in just some passing game and different things, but like, who's the guy right after Puka in this team?
This definitely elevates Devonte Adams. He's been playing great this year, but with Puka out, their number one target, Devonte is going to be even better.
Right,
A guy to look at possibly in deeper leagues would be Jordan Whittington.
right.
He's been with the team a couple of years now. He's a rookie or he was a past rookie that got a lot of buzz in camp, and he's been a pretty valuable player for them, just doing the dirty stuff, blocking. He gets 2 to 3 catches a game, but with Puka out, he could see a expanded role in the slot, so that could be very valuable. We'll just kind of have to wait and see. But Kyron Williams should get a bump as well, and he's been receiving the ball more than I expected. And with Puka going out, he could see a lot more action in the passing game, kind of like we see with Bijan, Christian McCaffrey. So I think it could elevate Kyron Williams quite a bit as well.
Yeah, for sure. Devontae Adams, man, he's had some good games. Matthew Stafford, this last game didn't look that good either, which kind of maybe that's part of play of
He's
Puka
been
going out.
playing so well this year too.
Yeah,
This was a week we kind of expected Matthew Stafford to go off playing the
exactly.
Ravens, and then
Yeah,
you had this huge injury to Puka, so that was definitely disappointing.
it threw him off
Um,
for sure.
but a few more here. Another couple of big names. Garrett Wilson had a knee injury. He's guaranteed to miss a couple weeks, so that's kind of why you brought up the other receivers on this team, which
Right.
they're not great. They don't have much behind him. This could be a bump for Mason Taylor. Uh, a lot of people picked him up and played him this past week, and it ended up being just terrible.
2 points.
Yeah, a lot of that was due to Justin Fields just being terrible. But he's definitely a guy that needs to be rostered, and I think you can play him next week. But if it continues like this, I don't know if any pass catcher on that
Yeah,
team's
you
playable.
couldn't play a single one if Justin Fields plays like that. Yeah.
No. So, and then the next one, this was huge because he's been a rookie that's just been amazing for fantasy. Mika Ibuka, he had a hamstring injury this week. He's guaranteed out multiple weeks as well. So we'll kind of have to see on the injury status of the different pass catchers, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. We'll have to see if they come back. I do think this bumps Cade Otton up quite a bit. He has these past 2 weeks, he's played pretty decent. So if these guys are going to miss some time, I would definitely look at playing him if you're struggling at the tight end position. And then just a few more. Do you have anything on Ibuka?
No, that's huge for fantasy in general. A top guy, like truly rookie of the year potential. I mean, this guy was balling out. But in terms of targets going around, I do think we've seen Kate Otten do really well. Like last year into season, playoff time, different things like that. Baker Mayfield obviously trusts Kate Otten, and if Mike Evans and Chris Godwin kind of come back slow, with still being banged up, he'd be a guy to look at for sure. But Emeka Egbuka, and I still can't say his name well, but he's a dog, and you hate to see somebody get injured like that. What it's a few weeks or is it an IR? I forgot.
No, not IR. It's a few weeks. So
Okay,
uh, we did escape the IR, so that's a good sign.
yeah,
But these hamstring injuries, they're scary because they can linger, and it could affect him later down the road, even as he comes back. But that being said, they are playing the Lions, who have a very depleted secondary. And then
yeah.
with the punch Brian Branch threw at the end of the game, he's out this upcoming week. So their entire secondary is just very hurt at the moment. You'll have Kirby Joseph, but even he was hurt in the Chiefs game. So it could be a situation where it doesn't really matter the talent of the receivers because the back end of the Lions defense is going to be so bad.
Rashad White would be a good play.
Yeah, he's gonna catch a ton of balls, so
Exactly.
he would definitely be a high value target. I guarantee he was picked up, but if by some
Yeah.
miracle he wasn't, pick him up. But he could be
Right.
a guy you look at trading for. We really don't know when Bucky's going to come back. He's guaranteed to be out this upcoming game, so we'll just kind of have to wait and see on that injury. A couple more. Calvin Ridley had a hamstring injury. He's out multiple weeks. Marvin Harrison Jr. got a concussion. He's week to week, so that will definitely bump Trey McBride up even more on this team.
Yes.
And then I think it helps the running backs as well, which on the waiver wire, Bam Knight, if he's not picked up, he should be. He got more touches this week against Michael Carter. Michael Carter is still the lead back, but Bam Knight got another touchdown. That's 2 weeks in a row. So he's definitely someone to watch out for. And then kind of a weird one, DJ Moore. He was taken to the hospital after the Bears game. He played 94% of the snaps, and it was kind of an injury no one knew about. But he stayed overnight, and he was in the hospital, but it's undisclosed injury. So he's questionable for next week. So if he's out, Luther Burden, like you said, is definitely a target. He had 5 targets last night in their win. So he would definitely be a guy I'd look at. But I think the biggest beneficiary of that injury would be a Dunze, and they play the Saints this upcoming week. So I would definitely look at him. And then the last one, we already kind of touched on it. David Njoku had a knee injury. He's likely out this next week. So if you're struggling at tight end and Harold Fannon's probably on the waiver wire, pick him up because he's going to PPR you to 8 to 10 points, which is it's valuable. If you're in a PPR league, it's just if you can get a tight end or a player in general that's going to have multiple targets, catches, he's a valuable guy you can play.
That's where these running backs are huge in PPR because not only can they get you a touchdown on the ground, but they're also going to get those dump offs, and that's 1 point guaranteed. And I watched the Browns game, and Dylan Gabriel, to me, he put the ball on the money with a lot of these guys. I'm telling you, when I tuned in, he didn't play good. Don't get me wrong, but he looked like he had some good accuracy in terms of middle of the field and even sometimes some deep passes. And he played a good defense. So Harold Fannin, I think, is a big pickup because number one, I think rookies their safety blanket is a tight end, and with David Njoku out, it's a solidified Harold Fannin is going to be the guy. And I don't think Dylan Gabriel's as good on the edge of the field, near the sideline, throwing the ball deep. But that middle ground, he hit Fannin a ton, and Fannin could get some extra yards just on his own. With he's kind of a big guy, so I think that's a big pickup. And I also wanted to say something with Calvin Ridley being out. Ty J. Spears is another guy out there that could be really beneficial. I'm sure he's already picked up in some leagues. Uh, but with Tony Pollard, I mean, number one, the Titans are also cheeks. So it's hard to know what to do with that. But Elick Ayomanor, is that how you say his name?
Yep.
He's been doing pretty good as a rookie, and I think with Calvin Ridley out, he's going to kind of become the solidified number one. And that's more of, I guess, a deep league pull as well. But I just wanted to throw that name out there before we jumped on.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be the number one target for this team. Him and Cam Ward do have a rapport together. It's just really hard to trust any player on that team. I have Tony Pollard in a couple leagues. He's going to get you 8 to 10 points a week, but none of their players offer you a high ceiling, and they may get the boost of firing their head coach Callahan, who'd arguably been the worst coach in the league. So I don't blame him for firing him, but it's definitely hard to play a single player on that team, with the exception of Pollard. But if you're struggling, they're at least worth picking up just to kind of see. But I wouldn't necessarily play any of them this upcoming week. But you never know with Calvin Ridley out, it may be a Iron Manor show. So it's definitely worth at least looking at.
Yeah, you never know what that guy coming up is going to do. For instance, freaking Rico Dowdle, dude. It,
Dude's a dog.
it's just crazy. But that's our lab report. We thank you for tuning in on that portion there. We're going to jump in now to do something a little different today. This last week, a lot of high scoring fantasy performances. And we wanted to go through the top three, maybe top four each position, and just kind of talk about what surprised us here. And for me, not as big of a surprise. We'll start with quarterbacks. We all know who's number one on this list. Sadly, it's Mr. Patrick Mahomes, 31.5 fantasy points, 257 passing yards, three passing touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown. Insane game. And Matt, I know you're going to talk about this and hype it up and give it all the goodness it needs. So take it away, my friend.
Yeah, I'll save some of my excitement for the game, but geez, dude, it looks like the Patrick Mahomes from his rookie year when he's throwing 50 touchdowns, or not his rookie year, but his first year starting, throwing 50 touchdowns, looking unstoppable. It's almost to the point now where if the Chiefs don't score on the possession, you're surprised. This is 3 weeks in a row we've put up higher than 27 points in the game. So it's just exciting to see the offensive old for the Chiefs come back. I I was supportive last year, even when we were losing these or winning these close games, the one score games. But it's great to see that we can win with a high margin of victory, and we're not having to squeak every single game out. But I think you finally see that Patrick Mahomes has a pretty healthy receiving room now, which he has not had in the past couple years. Hollywood's playing pretty well. I mean, this past game was the best game of his life with the Chiefs so far. 2 touchdowns. Worthy coming back, that opens up everything for this team. You see these past couple weeks with Worthy back, Travis has kind of resurfaced as a pretty high end tight end for fantasy, and that's just because not all the attention's on him every single play now. Juju has even played well with Worthy coming back, and now we're adding Rice to the fold next week. So it should just be an even more explosive offense with Rice coming back, who's going to run across the middle of the field and offers you high yak value, which he could turn a 10-yard pass into an 80-yard touchdown. That's the type of athlete he is. So I think this production is going to continue for Mahomes. That's why I traded for him, and I think you can trust him no matter the matchup to be a top five tight or top five quarterback on a weekly basis.
I definitely agree. Patrick Mahomes has been a dog, and we know this in fantasy. If the quarterback can get a touchdown on the ground and also one through the air, it just doubles their value. And it's nice. It's a little worry, like it worries me to see Patrick Mahomes running now, like he would in the playoffs, just in terms of it could lead to injury. But you love to see it in terms of a fantasy perspective to see him putting up these numbers. And I mean, I kind of wanted to ask you this too. Number one, I mean, Travis Kelsey, he's had a decent year, right? But Rashee Rice coming back in the picture, does he become like a top 10 guy again? Or because this ball is so spread out with so many hands to feed, is he kind of just like a middle of the pack receiver 2, receiver 3? I mean, what are you expecting with a Rashee Rice comeback?
No, I definitely think he's going to be in the wide receiver one territory. He might not be a high end wide receiver one, but he's definitely in that range. We saw it last year. Even it was only the first 4 games before the injury, but before those first 4 games, dude, this guy was he was amazing for fantasy, and that was with Xavier Worthy on the field with Travis Kelsey. The only player that wasn't out there when he was playing those first 4 last year was Hollywood Brown, due to the preseason injury. And I don't think Hollywood Brown is going to be taking targets away from Rashee Rice. So I would fully expect him to just be dominant the rest of the season. He is so good after the catch, and I think that's what offers his high fantasy value. So if you have him, God bless you. You're in a good spot like you are. Um, he's just a talented player, and if you have the best quarterback in the league throwing you the ball, you're going to be a pretty good fantasy asset. And I think this honestly would help Worthy as well. He's going to get some of the attention taken away from him, and some of these deep shots we haven't connected on yet, I think are going to start hitting with Worthy. The only downside of Rice coming back, I think it might knock Thornton out of the picture, which he's been great for us early on in this season. But I think with him back, it's just there's not enough passes to go around for Thornton, Hollywood Brown, Juju. I think those are going to be guys that kind of see their downfall here, but they still could be a spot start if you absolutely need them. But Worthy, Rice, and Kelsey are going to be very, very good rest of the season.
Definitely agree. I even think with the lower rushing numbers from your running backs, that it makes you more of a passing team of the past, like you were with Tyreek Hill and oh my goodness, who's your number 2 at that time period? Tyreek Hill, obviously Travis Kelsey,
Sammy Watkins.
Sammy Watkins, Mr. McCole Hardman, Super Bowl catching touchdown. Shout out
Dude,
Georgia
the
Bulldog.
receiving room has been a revolving door
Yeah.
ever since Mahomes was drafted. So it's good to have Rice and Worthy be
Uh-huh.
just 2 stable guys that are going to be with us for multiple years to come.
Do you
But
start
trade for a running back, please.
Chuba Hubbard? I'm telling him, man, get my guy out of this position.
I'll take
For
Chuba.
me,
I'll take Brees Hall. I'll even take Kamara. And I don't even think he's an amazing player anymore, but he's
yeah,
still more talented than what we have.
I don't think they trade Kamara right now. He wants to be a saint for life. I mean, that's what he wants. But the team, they still could trade him. I think they should trade Chris Olave. That's just I'm gonna throw that out there. Yeah, no, I
Why?
think dude. Listen, they're in a rebuild anyways, man. Get some picks for next year. Chris
Are they?
Olave's not the
Radler
guy,
looks decent.
dude.
He really does.
He's manageable. We need to talk to our Saints fans and see what they think about that. But do you start Rashee Rice next week? Week 7
Uh,
off the bat. Do you start him
it's tough.
playing the Raiders?
He didn't. I wouldn't be opposed to it because he wasn't in. Like he's been back from the injury far enough that it shouldn't be affecting him. He could have played week 1. It's just due to the suspension he didn't. So he already has rapport with Mahomes. We're going against one of our biggest rivals in the Raiders. So I think we're going to want to blow the doors off them. So I wouldn't be opposed to it. But if you have other options, I might let Rice just kind of sit, watch what happens this first week. But if you've been waiting on him to come back, you're kind of limited at receiver. I definitely think he's an okay play this week. Probably in an ideal world, he'll be top 24 his first week back, in the receiving pool. But it's, it's something you can do, and I think it could turn fruitful for you. But I would definitely be careful. There is a lot of pass catching options on this team, so first week back it may not be amazing. But Worthy first game back was amazing.
He was
So
a dog, dude.
yeah,
I'll give it to you like this. I've got Michael Pittman Jr., Jacoby Myers. I
yeah,
mean,
start him.
start
Yeah,
him. Come on. I agree.
yeah. Jacoby Myers against the Chiefs. I
Oh,
don't.
dude.
He's going to have McDuffie on him, and I
Geno Smith sucks.
Yeah, Geno Smith is terrible. The only guy on the Raiders that I'd probably start this week is Ashton Genty,
Yeah,
and other than that, I'd probably stay away.
I definitely agree. All right, number two on this list. Let's see what time we're at. We're doing good. Number two, the Drake May. He's had a really good year. Number five quarterback. Uh, so far, last week he was quarterback two, 26 pass attempts, 18 completions, 261 yards, and three touchdowns. I feel like those are really good numbers in terms of the amount of completions he had, the deep yardage, or the amount of yardage with that, and the three touchdowns. Drake May is looking solid, which also in turn has been great for Mr. Stephon Diggs. Another name we didn't even mention, which I'm surprised we kind of forgot about this. He should be picked up. Mr. Booty. Dude, go out there and pick up Booty, bro. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Go get this guy.
he had a good week, 2 touchdowns. The only tough part with them, we kind of saw a disappearing act from Stephon this past week,
Right.
and they're kind of a situation like the Buffalo Bills where you don't really know what pass catcher is going to succeed from game to game.
Yeah. Even
Demario Douglas had a
Hunter Henry.
touchdown. What'd you say?
Even Hunter Henry. Like
Yeah,
we've
Hunter
seen him
Henry.
elevated, but
Yeah, he's been good this year. Demario Douglas had a touchdown this past week. Could have had two. One was called back. It it's just going to be kind of hard to know what player to start on a week to week with this team. But Booty is he's a good player. So especially in dynasty, I would pick him up. Or if you're in a deeper league, I would pick him up. It might be kind of tough if you're in a 10 to 12 man league to play him on a week to week basis. But deeper leagues, dynasty, he's definitely worth rostering for sure.
these are those moments when I see a guy through 6 weeks at number five, like Drake May, where to me it is so much more valuable in a draft to wait for your quarterbacks. Because you could get a guy that might have the upside of a top five guy and instead get a higher value pick in the draft. Whereas Drake May was like a later round pick, and he's looking great this year. And the nice part about Drake May as well is he does have some running upside. I mean, it's not the greatest, but he did have 9 attempts for 28 yards. He's had 2 rushing touchdowns this year. Nothing compared to your boy Patrick Mahomes on the touchdowns this year. He's number one in like every category. But Drake May's a guy that you can get out there and rely on. At least him, maybe not the receivers, definitely not the running backs, but you can at least rely on Drake May.
Yeah, you're definitely seeing kind of the coming out party for Drake May. He's played great this year. The Patriots actually lead that division, which is crazy to say after they've been so bad over these past 5 years or so. But it's good to see him succeed. He seems like a good young guy, and I think he's going to be a good leader for this team for years to come. And Vrabel becoming the head coach of that team, I don't think anything could have happened. Josh McDaniels being the OC, I think he just has a very good structure right now, and that's leading to a lot of success. I think he's got all the talent in the world.
100% agree on that. Uh, all right, we won't really go too deep into the other two quarterbacks there in the top four, but Jackson Dart last week looked good. The
It's the
only
rushing.
negative, the only negative with Jackson Dart is this guy could be out every week on concussion protocol or
He's
hurt
got
because, dude, man,
he's
just
got to
puts
be
his head down.
smarter. Yeah, leave the putting your head down for Cam. Cam's
Seriously,
Cataboo, that's his job. He's got to be smarter about these rushing attempts he has. When they put Russell Wilson in, the crowd just immediately booed.
dude,
And
he literally
so
threw the ball right at the ground first play. It was awful. It's like you hate to see that in a vet, but man, he was bad.
yeah, and Brian Dable, he's going to get fined for going in the medical tent like he did.
Right.
That's how important it is for Jackson Dart to be the starter on this team. So he definitely needs to be more cautious. You don't want to stop rushing the ball in entirety because
No.
that's what makes him such a valuable player in the NFL and for fantasy. But you definitely want him to slide when necessary and
Yeah.
not lower. He torpedoed himself
Literally
to get a
jumped that.
first
Yeah.
down. Dude, he's got to be more smart about these. Oh, look what happened to Tua.
Yeah.
You don't want this to happen to you.
I'm all for it though. I'm gonna be honest. I love the energy and the drive. The scat pack, dude. I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
No one's denying the dog in this guy.
Right, right.
He just needs to
X-rays
be
came back.
yeah, he just needs to be smarter about these attempts. I mean, they're
Yeah.
gonna try to kill him. With
Yeah.
he's kind of a cocky little dude. He gave the ref
Freaking
a
old
high
nice too.
five. That was one of the craziest. That would be flagged 10 times out of 10. So it's
Especially if it's Patrick Mahomes, man.
yeah, dude. Oh,
Yeah,
dude,
I want
hearing everybody complain about the refs, it's music to my freaking ears.
this guy.
That that just tells you the Chiefs are back.
Oh my gosh. I did want to throw something out there. Chris Collinsworth this last week on one of Patrick Mahomes' runs. It was a third and I think a third and 8 or something like that. Runs for first down. And he's like, man, nobody in the league does it like this guy. And literally Baker Mayfield had an even better run than Patrick Mahomes. Chris Collinsworth might be the most biased guy out there for Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I'm not going to act like I'm not biased towards him,
Right.
but holy crap, he does seem like he's very favorable to Patrick when he's calling these games.
It's
But
bad.
that's fine with me, man.
As a Patrick Mahomes fan, you'd love to see it. Oh, check out this chat. My boy Alex Carter, shout out, dude. Good to see you today. He's in a 4-man league, so all the teams are elite, Matt. Uh,
Yeah, that
it's
four-man leagues, dude. That's another breed. I
it's a whole other
I
animal.
yeah, I don't know about that'd be hard to play in.
It's like you just depend on those big weeks. All right, let's talk about some running backs. Top three. I want to be honest with you. I didn't even realize Josh Jacobs. He kind of stuck up and just had a good game. That's Josh Jacobs is the third guy out there, 32 fantasy points. I love Josh Jacobs. Another one of those workhorses. He gets the touches and the snap share, and this man just produces with it. But top two here, Bijan Robinson. Let's talk about this for a little bit here, Matt. This guy is ruining people's fantasy weeks if he's not on your team.
He's
Bijan
unbelievable.
Robinson is an 81-yard run. Like this guy is just an animal. How do you feel about him, Matt?
On top of the world, I have him in redraft.
Oh man, so you're
He,
on the good side here.
yeah, I don't know if you realize this. He's on pace to have 1,100 receiving yards as a
Is he
running
really?
back. That's Christian McCaffrey level, and
Yeah,
he's the type of guy. Every time he gets the ball, he can take it to the house. And the only frustrating thing about him is freaking Tyler Algier. Tyler Algier is a talented player, don't get me wrong, but when you have one of the best players in the league at the position, you need to give it to him as many times as you can. And it's not diminishing Tyler Algier. He ran a 20-yard touchdown last night. He's a talented player. But Bijan is just another level. He's on that top echelon of the number 1, 2 or 3 running back in the league. I would say he's one, but dude, he's unbelievable. If you have him in fantasy, he alone accounts for 2 players on most weeks. He's that good.
literally might be fantasy MVP. He will win people leagues single handedly. I did not realize the two games this year, 100 yards receiving. I did not realize the extent of how well he's been a dual threat. I mean, I know on the ground, this was his best week by far. But I know on the ground he's a dog. But
Yeah,
we talked earlier in the year too. Didn't mean to cut you off, but we talked earlier in the year that the Falcons were looking bad. We even said like trade Drake London, which it'll bite us here in a minute as we talk about it. But I mean, what this is crazy.
it was mainly due to Penix just getting the ball out of his hands so quick. He's one of the least hit quarterbacks in the league, and it's due to just him releasing the ball so quickly. And a lot of those throws are going to Bijan, whether it's in the screen game or just dump offs. And with Bijan's ability to break tackles and take it the distance, it's just offering us such a high fantasy floor. It doesn't really matter how he rushes the ball on a week to week basis. That's almost the icing on the cake because these passes he's catching, especially if you're in a PPR league, it's just offering you such a high floor that this 81 touchdown last night. That's just propelling him even farther as far as fantasy points go. He's unbelievable.
Not a fan of this guy. Solely because I don't have any shares of Bijan Robinson. So It kind of sucks, but it is what it is. I'm glad he's doing well. Ball out a little bit, ball out there, Mr. Longhorn. I think that also doesn't help. Hordes down all day, go dogs. But Rico Dowdle is number 2 running back of the week. Revenge game. This man, listen, in these last 2 weeks, I want to give you some numbers. Remember last week he was running back 1, 206 yards on the ground. This week he was running back 2, 183 yards, and he had no touchdowns on the ground this week, but one in the air. 5 targets, 4 catches, 56 yards. This guy is, it's Dallas. They play the Jets next week. Chuba Hubbard might be back. I don't think it's going to affect Rico Dowdle too much because even last week with a 67% snap share, he had 206 yards on the ground. But how we feeling about Mr. Rico Dowdle, Matt?
Feeling great. The only person that's not is Chuba Hubbard. Unfortunately, I think this injury he sustained might have lost him his job. And I don't think Rico is going to take 100% of the snaps by any means. But at the very least, this is going to be a split backfield. And that works in Detroit. It kind of works in Seattle, not really. The split backfield is just something that we don't love to see in fantasy. So it'll definitely be interesting to see when Chuba comes back who they are putting in the lead role on this team. Say what you want about them, they're not a terrible team. They've been good at home. They always have a good running game. The passing game might struggle at points, but Chuba Hubbard always got his in the running game. And now we're seeing Rico do it to another level. So he's a guy that you got for nothing, and you can't be not excited about it. He's been unbelievable for a guy that we kind of pointed out no one wanted this offseason. Lord, the Chiefs had a chance to get this guy in the offseason, and we didn't even think about it. It's frustrating. The dude looks unbelievable.
Imagine a Rico Dowdle Chiefs.
Dude, you might as
That'd be
well
kind of
wrap up
crazy.
the season. It's we would be undefeated right now.
I think they still would have played Pacheco over him, but later season, which
Until
man,
we saw what he did on the field, you can't
Pacheco's been bad.
you can't
Yeah,
freaking deny this guy's. It'd be one thing
this
if he had a couple good runs. This guy is doing
right.
it all game, and he's done it
Yeah,
2 games in a
on a
row
bad
now.
team. What you actually you said it earlier. I want to take that back. The Panthers are not a bad team.
Yeah, they're
They're they're,
500.
they're doing real good. With Mister Reaper Young back there, Carolina Reaper.
Dude,
They're,
the
they're pulling
crazy
through.
thing is Bryce. They might sign Bryce Young. He's not been terrible,
Yeah,
and I think if you would have told us they were gonna sign him long term before the season started, we'd call you crazy. Even though
yeah.
he had a decent end of the year last year, he's not amazing by any means, but
No,
he's middle of the road. He's not a bad quarterback. So
I think he could win you a game if you have a good defense. He could lead you to a playoff run for sure.
he's not terrible.
No, we're gonna go ahead and jump to the receivers because we got a few projections for next week. Some guys we think that'll play well, coming back. The top 3 receivers. Number one of them you kind of expected it. Mr. JSN at number 3 with 30 fantasy points in PPR, 162 receiving yards, and a receiving touchdown. This guy is a dog, man. Receiver, he might be fantasy MVP of the year. I mean, we just got some like huge production from some guys out there, and I would have never guessed that Sam Darnold would be the man throwing him the ball to lead him to this. But Cooper Cup is non-existent. You don't even need to say that name. But JSN is the guy at number 3 there. Matt, I know you have some shares of JSN. What are your thoughts on this man?
No words. This guy, I don't know why, but coming into the season, he was doubted. I don't know if it's because of the struggles he had his rookie year, but this past game against a good Jaguars defense that we saw go toe to toe with the Chiefs and win, he had 50% of the target share on this team. He had 8 of their 16 throws. He had 8 of the catches. He's unbelievable. He's Sam's favorite guy. He's got all the talent in the world. Regardless of matchup, he's going to be a top 5 receiver. The dude is that good. And having him in redraft is just a dream. I couldn't ask for anything more. He tucks me into bed every night with a nice little stat line. The dude is a dog.
Can't beat it when you got a guy that will leave you happy at the end of a fantasy game. Which, speaking of Mr. Drake London, we have to take back what we said earlier season. We said you might need to be dropping this guy. Did we not?
Recited. Yeah, I take it. I have him in a lot of places, and he
Yeah,
was really frustrating me, and that's why I pointed it out.
right.
But last night he looked like the only receiver on the field. He's the
Dude,
only guy that Penix was going to when it wasn't Bijan. So he's
we don't
definitely
even.
valuable.
Kyle Pitts is a joke, dude. You can't. He's got to go to a different team to be valuable. At the end,
Literally
straight up.
had that screenplay thrown to him last night and just falls to the ground. I don't have another excuse for him. He
What
started the season off decent, and now
right?
he is what he is.
What more could you do for a guy? And Kyle Pitts, it's just over. But Drake London, 158 receiving yards, 10 receptions, 16 targets. That's insane. 16 targets. And I mean, Buffalo's defense is
Booty.
middle of the pack. Well, it, I would say it's not very good.
I'm a Bills hater. I
Yeah.
know it.
So,
It's all right.
but Drake London, man, if he keeps this up, if Michael Penix can continue to get him the ball and Bijan do what he's been doing, this is an electric team that you get to kind of watch. And I mean, they beat a good team of the Bills, so they've got a good defense too. Atlanta has a good defense.
And right before halftime, he almost had another touchdown. He stepped out of bounds right before he crossed the goal line. That that play was. I honestly thought after he stepped out before that touchdown, they didn't come with any points going into halftime. I thought they were going to lose the game, especially when Buffalo came out and scored first possession. But this Falcons defense is a lot better than most people expected it to be.
Yeah,
It is good, and Buffalo's
it's
lost
legit.
two in a row now, so that's something to watch.
Keep an eye. Brevin Bales out there. We know you're sweating. We know you're sweating. Number one guy there tied with Mr. Drake London, George freaking Pickens, baby. Go dogs. Who's that coming down the track, sir? It's the mean machine in red and black. George Pickens with 168 yards, 9 receptions, and a touchdown, 11 targets. This is going to change this next week. CeeDee Lamb should be coming back. Dallas, I'm not a Dallas believer. They suck. But George Pickens has done well with Mr. Dak Prescott. Rest of season, what do you see with CD coming back? Do you think it really affects George a lot, or actually does it help him, propel him to be better?
The thing about the Cowboys is their defense is terrible, and Dak is playing at such a high level that these pass catching options on Dallas are going to be very fruitful for the games to come. So I think even with CD coming back, I think George is definitely still going to be very valuable. He might not be in that wide receiver one tier like he is now, but I think he'll definitely be in the wide receiver two. He he'll be a top 24 at the end of the year. I think he's playing for that bag of money. He's in the contract year next year, and if Dallas doesn't sign him, someone's giving this dude 100 million. He's that good of a player. He's looked great. 6 touchdowns already. The dude has looked great.
Shout out again to Alex Carter. There's nothing finer in the land. Go dogs. Side note, real quick.
I
Clapped
disagree.
Auburn. Clapped Auburn. 20 to 10. Gunnar Stockton, MVP, Heisman. No, he's actually. I don't like.
You don't
I don't like.
believe that.
I don't like Gunnar Stockton. I'm just. Let's let that be known. He's a worse Stetson Bennett, better runner, but not as good of a thrower. But that's college football. R.I.P. Hogs.
We
Vols.
almost
Yeah,
got him.
man. Come on.
The turnovers continue to bite us in the butt.
It's a tough thing to see. Our tight ends, real quick, just throw out the top three there. Mr. Trey McBride at number 2. Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett did pretty solid first start for the Arizona Cardinals. We'll see what that looks like for him with Kyler Murray out. Number 1, Mr. Dallas going dirt. Kind of good. It's like a throwback, man. Seeing him up there. And then at number 3, Tyler Warren. That's Sam Laporta. Dude, stop drafting tight ends first 2 rounds. Just wait. Get a rookie every year. Just grab a rookie tight end. That's the new play. These guys are balling, man.
Yeah, Tyler Warren might finish as the one. He's looked that good, and this Colts team has looked that good. The only tough part is if you don't get one of those guys early in the drafts or get lucky with a rookie late, you're in a just constant revolving door of these tight ends. If we've kind of seen it, people have thrown around Jawan Johnson. He's been in. Zach Ertz has been in. It's just it's tough if you don't have one of those top guys. That's the only thing I'll say about not getting one early.
It is. You gotta play the. It's kind of like a defense. When you don't get a good defense, you play the who's playing the worst team. All right, real quick, we're gonna transition here to some starts for the next week. Some guys that we think will pop off. Some might be obvious, and others maybe not. But number one for me, I think next week is a breakout week for Mr. Jaden Daniels. He's been kind of underwhelming this year. I mean, he did have an injury for a little bit there. Marcus Mariota came in, but he's quarterback number 25 so far. And last week against Chicago, quarterback number 5, had 3 touchdowns and an interception. Didn't run very well. Kind of noticed that. But Dallas has consistently given up extreme points. I mean, Bryce Young played well this last week. Dallas's defense is just so bad. I think to even speak to this, the other guy I had on this list was Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz is a bona fide target for Jade Daniels. We still don't know about Terry McLaurin and Noah Brown. Debo Samuel is the guy, but he didn't even look that good this last week. So Zach Ertz and Jade Daniels are 2 guys I'd be playing. Even Bill. I mean, I know you're going to be playing JCM, but if you don't have a good tight end out there, like you just said earlier, if you're in a revolving door, go out there and play Zach Ertz this next week. I bet he gets a touchdown at least through this game because I think they're going to just blow up Dallas. How you feel about that?
Yeah, I like Jaden Daniels a lot. JCM should be great, especially with how we saw Rico run against this Dallas defense. I think JCM should offer you a pretty good week as well as pretty much every offensive player on Washington that you play consistently. Zach Ertz, Jaden Daniels, and Terry McLaurin could be back this upcoming week. So I don't know if I'd play him just right off the bat coming back from injury, but he should have a pretty decent game if he plays. One that I was interested in is DK Metcalf against the Bengals. The Bengals have just been a terrible. Excuse me, sorry, I had to sneeze. The Bengals have been a terrible
Bless you,
defense.
brother.
Thank you. They're ranked 30th this year. There's and Trey Hendrickson's now hurt with a back injury. So I think Aaron Rodgers has kind of proved to be a pretty decent quarterback in this league. The Steelers are having success. Uh, I think DK is the type of guy that can take a 10-yard crosser and take it to the house. And against this Bengals defense, I would definitely be looking at playing him. The second guy I had was a Dunze against the Saints. The Saints have been a middle of the pack defense. They're ranked number 16 overall, but Adunze is the 13th overall receiver, even with a bye week. He had a down week this past week against Washington, but with DJ Moore having this undisclosed injury, we don't know if he's coming back this next week. And Caleb Williams has proved that Adunze is his favorite target, especially in the red zone. So I would be excited to play him this upcoming week, especially with DJ Moore out.
Completely agree with that. I was going to go with one other guy here, but I wanted to switch it before I threw that out there. Number one, Mr. Lad McConkey. Hear me out. Hear me out on this. They're playing Indiana. I think Huge has kind of begun to fall back down, and Lad McConkey and Keenan Allen are kind of the middle of the pack, or not middle of the pack, but middle of the field targets. I think Lad has a good game. And then another piece of this is Mr. Jay Jettis. You're obviously going to start him, but I think this man's going to have a great week against a banged up, not a banged, well, yeah, a banged up Philly secondary, and I mean he'll have Cooper DeJean on him. But with Keely Ringo, like we talked about earlier, and the Philly didn't look very good defensively last week. I think Jay Jettis has a huge week, and it's kind of crazy. He is receiver 19. I mean, it's not great, but with Carson Wentz, he's been playing. He's been doing well these last 2 weeks. Receiver 8, receiver 11, and J.J. McCarthy could possibly be back. We don't know what that's going to bring, But JJ, I mean, you're starting JJ as I understand, but I'd put him out there as well.
Yeah, it's never a bad bet to bet on Jay Jettis.
No,
He's arguably the best receiver in fantasy. I know it's been a little tougher this year with his downgrade in QB, but he's definitely never to play, never bad to play.
right.
Had the Colts defense, but they underperformed. The Colts defense isn't amazing, but this
Yeah,
week specifically, they had some weird stuff happen. Their starting quarterback, Ward, he got
yep.
injured in warmups when he was running a route, and their tight end ran onto the field and gave him a concussion. So that's that's definitely kind of a weird circumstance. But with defense, like we've talked about, it's definitely matchup based.
Yeah.
You have a lot of defenses. That just excel depending on who they're playing, especially if you're playing a quarterback that's interception prone, Geno Smith.
I was about to
So,
say the Chiefs defense would be a
yeah,
perfect play.
The Chiefs defense is a smash hit this week. Really, any defense that plays the
Yeah.
Titans is a
Yes.
valuable pick on a week to week basis. Um, so yeah, unless you have a top tier defense, it's pretty much a revolving door.
Yeah, depends on matchup. I would throw this out there as well. Chicago Bears play New Orleans. They haven't played that well. They're probably available in a lot of leagues. And Miami Dolphins play Cleveland. Dylan Gabriel. I mean, the Miami Dolphins is not a great defense, but Dylan Gabriel's a rookie. He didn't throw any picks last week, and we'll see if he kind of folds again this week. So
Yeah,
that'd be two I'd throw
and
out
to
there.
your point, Gabriel hasn't shown that they can score a lot of points with him at
Right.
QB. So, and he's definitely going to be mistake prone. So, I would definitely play a quarterback, or I mean, a defense against him. And my last one, it's a homer pick. Mahomes against the Raiders. He's the number one quarterback overall of fantasy so far this year, and the Raiders are one of our biggest rivals. We hate them; they hate us. I think he's going to absolutely ball out, especially with Rice back. We'll have the full assortment of weapons on this team, so I think it's going to be an outrageous Mahomes performance, and I'm excited to see it.
I completely agree. Uh, the Patrick Mahomes, man, but he can finish one at the end of the year. I mean, that's what's looking right now. I would also play CeeDee Lamb, even if he's hurt, coming off injury. Throw him out there. Play this guy. Bona fide dog. All right.
So I've got a few start sits for you. Would you like to hear them?
Yes, sir. I was just about to throw it your way.
We'll make it quick here. I know it's the end of the pod. Thank you guys for listening so far.
Yeah.
Um, I've got three here
Subscribe
for
and
you.
like.
Yeah, subscribe and like, please.
Share it. Share it too.
The first one is I would say it's a guy that's going to be middle of the pack every week, and then a guy that offers you a high ceiling based on his performance this past week. But
Okay.
the first start sit question is going to be Chase Brown, who's the
Oh,
number
man.
30 running back over the first 6 games of the season,
That's
and
tough.
then Kamani Vidal.
Wow. Uh, let's see who we playing here. Trying to see their matchup. Kamani Vidal, Indiana. Chase Brown, Pittsburgh. Oh, jeez. I think just on matchup alone, Joe Flacco didn't look bad. T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, they finally kind of got their share. But he didn't seem to pass it a lot to my boy Chase Brown. And I am out on Chase Brown rest of season. To be like, I'd get rid of him if I could trade him. You know what I mean? And that may be bold. I don't know how you feel about that. But uh, I would go Kamani Vidal over him just based on matchup and based on how good Kamani Vidal looked this last week. And knowing the scheme and the script that the Chargers have, I think that only helps Kamani Vidal. Whereas Joe Flacco is known for sitting in the pocket and throwing over the middle or trying to throw it deep compared to just a little check down. So, yeah, I would go Kamani Vidal over Chase Brown this next week. How you feel about that?
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I have Chase Brown in a lot of leagues. He's been disappointing. The only reason I pose the question is because with Vidal, you don't know if it was just they went with hot hand this week. He was the better runner, and next week it could be Haskins coming in and being the lead role or lead back in that offense. So it's definitely a question mark playing Vidal, but I think he's the more talented player than Haskins, and this Bengals offense, it just doesn't look amazing. Even with Flacco, it's going to be slightly better with Flacco, but I still don't think that's going to help the running game with how bad this O line is. So I definitely agree with you there. A little bit harder of a one here for you. It's going to be two QBs. Would you rather start or sit C.J. Brown or C.J. Stroud versus Sam Darnold?
Let's see our matchups here. That is not correct. There we go. All right, C.J. Stroud, who had a good week last week. They were on bye this week.
They're playing each other, by the way.
Oh, they are? Okay, it's C.J. Stroud and Sam Darnold.
And both teams have good defenses.
Yeah, I'm about to say the
Overall this
Seahawks.
season, CJ has been the number 21 quarterback overall. Sam Darnold has been the 11th overall.
Yeah,
But CJ is coming off a very good performance. He has looked good these
balled
past
out.
2 weeks. So that's kind of where the question's coming in. Would you rather take the more consistent Sam Darnold, or would you like to go with the hot hand with CJ
Man.
Stroud?
Yeah. The Seahawks and Houston defense, I would put them equal in terms of how good they've been this season. So that's really not a factor. I I really think hear me out on this, okay? I would go C.J. Stroud over Sam Darnold. Truly, ride the hot hand. I think Sam Darnold against this defense, they're going to try their best to clamp up JSN, who relatively has been a deep threat. A lot of his targets have been 10 plus yards. That's just who he is. So I think they're going to try to slow that down. I think it'll be more of a run game for Seahawks against this team, which still will be hard. And so I would go C.J. Stroud because he looked really good last week, kind of looking like he used to. And Nico Collins is kind of coming back, playing well again, and they're looking pretty good. I mean,
Yeah,
I would go C.J. Stroud.
this could definitely go either way. CJ Stroud's definitely the hot hand, like you pointed out. And with JSN getting paired against Stingley this week, who is a top three cornerback in the
Uh-huh.
league, it's definitely going to be a tougher matchup for him. So I don't disagree with you all at
Yeah.
all. I think Sam Darnold might be the higher floor play
Uh-huh.
just because of his consistency this year. But if you're wanting some explosive plays, Nico Collins, there's no one better than that. And
Right.
CJ Stroud has been playing great. So I don't disagree with you there either.
Yeah. This
Last
last
one
week he threw
here.
4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Or
I mean,
before the bye, and it was against Baltimore. But Houston has a better defense than Seattle in terms of ratings. So
yeah, that's the tough part is one of those hot games for CJ was against Baltimore, whose defense has been ravaged by injuries.
right,
So it's definitely taking kind of a bet on CJ and the talent he has um, versus Sam Darnold, who we just kind of see as just he's honestly a good quarterback now.
yeah,
We
yeah,
over the first 6 or 7 years of his career, we didn't think that. Now he's just proved to be a talented guy.
he's a dog.
Um, the last one here, I have firsthand experience with this player. The first name is Bo Nix. He
Man,
he has had a good game, then he's been very underwhelming. So Bo Nix comes in at the 13th quarterback overall this year so far. Um, would you rather start or sit Bo Nix versus Matthew Stafford?
man. All right, going against New York, lower end defense. Mr. Matthew Stafford is playing. Let's see what we got here. Jacksonville. Okay. So here's my caveat. I think if Puka Nakua is out, you gotta automatically go Bo Nix. He's kind of just been average this year. Matthew Stafford did have a bad game last week. Without Puka Nakua in, he was quarterback 26. Only had 9 fantasy points. Didn't play very well. So I think coming off a bad game, possible banged up Puka Nakua, I would go Bo Nix over him. Cortland Sutton's been a dog this year. That's his number one target. Troy Franklin's had some upside, and J.K. Dobbins. I mean, this is just a good team. They're pretty middle. I mean, they're not the best out there, but I think Bo Nix has the potential to have a high ceiling. Uh, and I think Matthew Stafford's floor is higher, but within this game, I would go Bo Nix for the chance of him to ball out.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I kind of am biased against Bo because he's been disappointing for me this year, but overall, Matthew Stafford has been good this year. He's number
Yeah.
10th overall. I do agree with you though. Puka being his favorite target is going to hamper him definitely in the passing game. The only caveat is you see when a player gets hurt mid game, it does affect the quarterback's play more than them being injured before the game starts, so that they don't revolve the whole game plan around that player and then they lose a mid game. So that could have affected it. He does have some talented players on this team, even with Puka out. Devontae Adams is still a top receiver in this league. But Bo Nix offers you the rushing ability that Matthew Stafford does not. So I would definitely probably go with Bo Nix, especially playing. Who is it this week? The Giants. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
The
playing
only thing about
Giants.
the Giants is their defense isn't terrible. I
Yeah, their front
mean,
line's good.
yeah, they just kind of handed the Eagles a very embarrassing L this week. That
Yeah.
front line for the Giants is pretty impressive.
Dude, Abdul
Burn,
Carter, Brian Burns,
yeah, and
Dexter
Thibodeau.
Lawrence.
Yeah, Sexy Dexy and
Dude,
Thibodeau, dude, they are absolutely loaded on the D
they're
line.
units.
Yeah. So if this O line can hold up for Bo, I think he'll have a decent game. And when the Chiefs played the Giants, we saw Patrick scramble a lot. And I
Yeah.
think we're going to see Bo Nick scramble a lot when he's getting away from the pressures. So as long as he can get out of the pocket cleanly and get some of these rushes in this game, I do agree with you. I'd probably go Bo Nix. But it will be interesting to see Stafford play without Puka.
Yeah,
If he balls out and Devontae balls out, I think he could be a guy you spot start on a week to week basis.
for sure. I'm gonna be honest with you. I continue to forget that Devontae Adams is on this team. I'm gonna be real.
He,
I think it's
dude,
just because Puka Nakua has been such a dog.
yeah, and Devontae just continues to produce.
Yeah, it's
Now
been good.
it could definitely be bad for him with Puka out. He's going to get a lot more attention. He still gets attention because he's still a very talented player, but we could see a whole defensive game plan on stopping Devontae Adams. So it will be interesting to see him play without Puka for the first time and kind of see how that either upgrades his fantasy value or downgrades. It could go either way, especially with an older receiver. He's not going to love the attention that they throw at him. So it'll be interesting to see, especially against a good Jaguars defense. So I'm excited to see it. He could be amazing, or it could be kind of a letdown spot for him with Puka out.
I truly think this next week's gonna be a lower week of fantasy production just overall because this week, man, people just popped off across the board. We had huge numbers from position to position. But there's always those guys that pull through.
Yeah, shout out to
So
my boy Brian Thomas. He finally had a good game this week.
whoa,
He almost had two touchdowns. One was called back due to penalty. But dude, let me one thing on the freaking penalties
go ahead,
with
go ahead, bro.
with all the people complaining about the Chiefs game, the Lions in total had four penalties called against them. So the refs were kind of letting us play that entire game. Second off, we did have a penalty called against us. They just declined it. So at the end of the game, it does show us getting zero penalties, but we did have one. They just declined it. And the penalties they had were obvious. They had a roughing the passer on Mahomes where Hutchinson just straight up clocked Mahomes. And I don't know if you saw it, the trick play they ran to Goff. They obviously didn't know the freaking rules of that play.
That's
So
stupid. Yeah,
I I am kind of glad to hear all the complaining about the refs because it's that the Chiefs are back and everybody's just looking for a complaint. But
right.
gosh dang it, it's frustrating when you can. They basically are saying the success is all due to the refs, which is just absurd.
Right. But if you're the top team, you have to expect that. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to expect that these guys are going to get the flack that they get. And I'll be honest with you, I was a little skeptical about the Chiefs through these being 2-3.
Everybody
Man,
was.
this is
Yeah,
looking
it's all
bad.
good.
But beating the Lions was a big win, and you guys look good against them. You're rushing. I mean, the running backs did it, but with Rasheed coming back, y'all are dangerous, man. And yeah, it could be. We'll see what it looks like against the Raiders this week.
Did you see Brian Branch's comment at the end of the in the locker room after the game?
I thought it was kind of a stupid interview. I was like, dude, if I was him, I would be honest, I know he has to apologize, but I would have stood on business, bro. I'd be like, listen, this dude, and he said it was because of a block in the back, but he kind
He,
of flopped. I would be real. Dude
dude,
kind of just flopped.
it would be different if this is a guy that doesn't have multiple past offenses for being physical with other players. But
Right.
he literally looked like he was going to cry and said that he
He
was
did.
getting bullied out there. It
It's
what are
Juju
we?
Smith-Schuster, bro.
I didn't know we were playing two-hand touch football. Of course, you're going to get bullied when
Yeah.
the Lions are supposed to be the team that bullies other teams. And
Right.
then after the game, when he gets a little physical, uh, he's saying we bullied him. It's just it's outrageous. It
I do
was a
think that's
terrible
ridiculous.
it's a terrible look for him just overall.
Yeah, it's like if you're gonna hit somebody afterwards, be strong about it. Like, don't be a baby. Like, you got to stand on it. Like, man, he was just bothering me, and I let my emotions get to me. It is what it is. But this dude was complaining, like he tried to validate it a little bit. So I didn't like that. I kind of was like, man, this guy. I mean, he makes more than me. So what more can I say about that? But kind of just it's immature, and then it made him look worse, talking like that as well. So yeah,
Yeah, if you're just final point, if you're gonna punch someone, just own it. Just
yes, stand on
I
business,
mean,
bro.
he did apologize and said it was a stupid mistake, but then
Right.
went on to say, "Oh, it's because they were bullying me."
Exactly.
I,
He tried to
I,
justify it.
yeah, I don't want to hear that. You straight up. We never see fights after games. You see them before games, during a game, but
Right.
after a game, that's when everybody's hugging, swapping jerseys, and then
Right.
he denies Mahomes the dap, and that made Juju mad. He starts talking shit, and then and then Brian
Yeah.
just decks him.
It's Red Kingdom, I guess, man. I don't know. I'm not a Chiefs fan, but it was good to see them coming on top for that one. So
We're back. Expect to see Mahomes 300 plus yards, 3 touchdowns. He's gonna
against the Raiders,
absolutely murder the Raiders.
I feel like you guys always play bad against the Raiders.
Yeah, it's always close. You're not wrong about
So
that.
I was like, I don't know about that one, but they could. But thank you so much for. We got 2 viewers all the way an hour and 17. Shout out to y'all. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe. If you're not subscribed, you're doing the wrong thing. Okay. You have championship caliber fantasy managers here, at least once for both of us, so we know a thing or two, right? We're both 5-1. I mean, at least listen to us a little bit. We'll be wrong. Let's be honest. We will be, but we're glad you're here. Share it with somebody. Let them know. And thanks for tuning in to the Takeology podcast. Any last words, Matt?
Nope. Brian Branch, you suck. We'll see you next week, Raiders.
That's the way to end. Have a good one.